Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Bobby Hams here with my review of Showtime's final season of Homeland, episode 9. We begin with the CIA tracking Carrie and Gromov from the air. Carrie looks to be heading for Kohard, so an exfiltration team will be deployed there by nightfall. Saul wants a special ops team to stand down and tells Mike that Carrie would have been in the station if anyone had bothered to tell him the plan was to capture her. Mike fires back that the plan, Saul's plan, was for Carrie to go back to Germany, but she escaped instead. Saul tells Mike that the team should be looking for the flight recorder that Max died for, not for Carrie, and learns that he's been recalled by the White House. Carrie and Gromov reach Kohard and lose the CIA's drone surveillance. It's presumed they'll stay the night, so a search team will start combing through the area immediately. In a hotel lobby, Carrie sees the highlights from President Easy's address and listens as a newscaster explains that sources have said that any violations of Pakistan's sovereignty will be considered an act of war. Gromov gets Carrie a room next to his, and she apologizes for not telling him about the flight recorder sooner, and he says she doesn't think that Jalal shot down the helicopters. She tells him her theory about the helicopter going down due to mechanical problems or bad weather, and says there's evidence of maintenance issues with some of the Black Hawk fleet, then tells him she has no more secrets to share. Tasneem's father meets with the worried General Aziz, who's been trying to contact Tasneem, but is told that she went to the mountains to talk some sense into Jalal. The general blames her incompetence for losing control of Haqqani and now Jalal, while the US threatens Pakistan with direct military action. Her father reassures him that the US took up the same posture with bin Laden, but they didn't invade then and they won't invade now. Tasneem meets with Haqqani's former lieutenant and berates him for allowing Jalal to control the shooter. When he replies that Jalal is Haqqani's son, she reminds him that Jalal was nothing and now he is threatening to start a war. She wants to be taken to see Jalal. Back in town, a boy tells Carrie and Gromov that he knows what they're looking for and has them follow him into a secluded alley, while two men, most likely the CIA search team, are nearby looking for Carrie. They're invited into an establishment and the owner takes them to where he keeps all of the electronics. He's aware they're seeking a flight recorder and claims to have 4 on hand from various eras. When Carrie says they're looking for something more recent, within the past 72 hours from an incident across the border, the owner wants to know if they're making an official request, because anything of a sensitive nature must be reported to the ISI immediately, or the owner can lose his license. Gromov tries to assure the man that they're private citizens, but he counters by pointing out that Gromov is Russian and Carrie is American, so it doesn't entirely seem private to him. At the White House, President Easy sits down with Saul, Dave, and Zabel, and Saul tries to make his case against the actions taken in Afghanistan. Easy says the public is demanding justice, to which Saul agrees, but says the public's demand doesn't justify misrepresenting intelligence or marginalizing the intel officers who produce it. Easy isn't quite sure what Saul is referring to until Saul clarifies that the video of Jalal hasn't been vetted by anyone in the intel community and therefore can't be accurately put into context. Saul looks for David to chime in and gets nothing, so he shifts the conversation to Pakistan and Easy decides to answer with the portion of his speech. Either Pakistan stops harboring the enemy or they face the consequences. Those words greatly please Zabel. Saul tells Easy the Pakistanis are a proud people who won't tolerate an invasion or an occupying army. Easy fires back there's a difference between pride and hiding away the man who killed an American president. Saul again looks to David for help and again gets silence in return. After the meeting, David tells Saul that speaking up would have achieved nothing because Easy already announced the policy to the whole nation and there was no way he was going to reverse course. David advises Saul that things have changed and they need to choose their battles more carefully from now on, because David didn't even know Saul was in the country until he walked into the Oval Office. Back in Kohard, Carrie and Gromov split up and Carrie finds Max's rucksack in a shop. She asks about its contents and the shopkeep tells her it came into the shop empty. Gromov interrupts the conversation and says there are men searching the market, so they must leave now. Gromov will lead the search team in the opposite direction while Carrie connects with his guy at the top of the street. Before leaving the shop, Carrie is certain the black box was there and threatens the man with the loss of his license for not reporting it to the ISI. She demands to meet the buyer or the middleman at midnight and promises to pay 10 times what was paid. In Jalal's hideout, Tasneem asks him if he realizes what he's done in provoking the Americans, and he replies that he didn't know there was a spy at the gathering, and who was she to say that he didn't kill the presidents? She reminds him that she's the one who picked him up from the gutter after his father kicked him out, the one who bandaged his feet and sat with him as he wept, and the one who's giving him a chance to survive by ordering him to go to ground. When Jalal disagrees with the idea of running and hiding, Tasneem tells him that he'll do as he's told or she'll have to hunt him down and replace him. Jalal flat out tells her no, then says the Taliban no longer answer to the ISI, and he goes outside, where he shows off the number of men under his command. Recalling the last time Pakistan tried to drive the Taliban from the mountains, Jalal says 1,000 Pakistani officers were killed and the Taliban are twice as strong now, and that's why he'll never run and why Tasneem will never go after him. So she can spare him her empty threats and he'll spare her an army of martyrs on her streets. Tasneem is more than a little concerned. At the hotel, Gromov tells Carrie they have to leave because there are at least 8 men out hunting for her, but she refuses and suggests they just lie low because they only need a few more hours to finish the search. Gromov says the search team know that he and Carrie are nearby, and Carrie doesn't even know if the black box is in Kohart, to which she agrees, then asks Gromov about a contact he had in the local police department. We then go to the CIA station, where Jenna is heading out for the day when she receives a call from Carrie, who asks for the location of the safe house where the exfiltrations team is staying. Jenna hasn't forgotten how she was played at the airport, but Carrie says she has a lead on the black box and wants a safe way to get it to Islamabad. She'll turn herself in to the special ops team. Jenna is being put into an impossible position, and Carrie brings up the fact that war with Pakistan is literally at stake. Jenna will have to call her back. Gromov compliments Carrie on her performance and tells her she's not selling out her country, only buying some time for all the right reasons. When he tries to compliment her instincts in the moment, he says that he's more of a planner, and that's when Carrie suddenly asks about the day she saw him outside Ghulam's office. Was that a coincidence, or was that planned too? Gromov doesn't give an answer before Jenna calls back with an address, and he heads out. Tasneem, speaking with her father, is shaken by how fast Jalal has secured himself as the Taliban's new leader. When her father says that Jalal must be taken out, she brings up the same point Jalal brought up about the last time Pakistan went after the Taliban, and they both agree that there were mistakes made, but that Jalal has most likely learned from those mistakes as well. He balks at the idea that they are to be dictated to by a child in the cave, and Tasneem has to remind him that 1/3 of her officers wear their beards at fist length. How many of General Aziz's men do the same? She concludes they have no choice but to protect Jalal if they want to protect Pakistan, and General Aziz will have to answer the American threat of invasion in the strongest possible term. Jenna learns that the CIA safe house has been found by the local police, and that she's been played by Carrie once again. Jenna isn't happy. Carrie slips past Gromov's guy and goes to meet up with the shop owner. On her way there, she calls Saul and asks that he give her access to $999,999 so she can buy the black box. She'll call him back when she has it. She meets the broker and they haggle over the price for a bit after Carrie authenticates that it is the black box from the downed chopper. Once he confirms that he's received the money transfer, Carrie kindly asks him to leave. As she begins listening to the audio, Gromov shows up and decides to join her. The two of them hear the pilot's final observations of a mechanical problem that caused Engine 2 to fail and then catch fire. That fire then caused too much smoke for them to see through, which prevented them from finding a landing spot. All the while, the helicopter was losing rotor speed and its altitude alarms were blaring. Carrie asks Gromov to help her get the black box to the American embassy in Islamabad. He asks her why would he do that, and she says because he's really a good guy. He's dubious of that, but Carrie keeps trying. She tells him she'll owe him for a change, and he replies that if she walks into the embassy, he'll never see her again. Seeing that she's losing his attention, she doubles down and suggests maybe the two of them could leave their respective agencies and go their own way. Gromov tells her that she lied to him, and Carrie defends herself by saying she did the same thing he would have done and only told him what he needed to know. On that subject, Carrie suddenly brings up the asylum. What really happened there, and how did Gromov coincidentally show up the day she tried to hang herself? Again, Gromov is seemingly caught off guard and doesn't reply. Carrie then tries to work her feminine wiles on Gromov. He tranquilizes her and has his guys pack up the black box. Meanwhile, back in Washington, Saul is waiting to hear back from Carrie when he gets a call from David. President Easy is going to the Situation Room. There's been activity at one of Pakistan's nuclear garrisons. In the Situation Room, President Easy is shown satellite photos of at least 6 nuclear payload vehicles that can be seen headed toward the Afghan border. The vehicles have 4 missiles, each with a range of 60 miles and a 5-kiloton nuclear warhead. President Easy looks uneasy as Zabel says that the missiles were meant as a deterrent against a ground invasion by India, and no one believes Pakistan will ever use them, which Saul says because no one thought India was stupid enough to ever invade. David says it's a clear response to the American troop surge on the Afghan border, and Easy, speaking to Zabel, said that Pakistan would back down. Zabel says that they will. They better, Easy says, and decides to agree with General Owens on a plan to attack Pakistan's nuclear missile launchers. David and Saul are exhausted and baffled. We end with Gromov putting a sleeping Carrie to bed, unaware of the calamities headed her way. This episode did a great job of showing the darker side of the alliances that Tasneem, Carrie, and now President Easy have thus far benefited from. Tasneem thought she had a younger, more compliant pawn in Jalal, only to find out she created a monster with the power to destroy the very country she's trying to protect, and she can't control him. Carrie was able to sidestep all of Washington's bureaucracy and the CIA's chain of command and use Gromov to find Max in a record time, but he's drugged her and taken the black box she was chasing after she burned Jenna once again, compromised the CIA safe house, and put Saul on the hook for the money transfer. And President Easy took the easy route and gave Zabel's speech to the world based on a single video clip, which may have made him look good in America in the short term, but now Zabel is pushing him into more saber rattling with Pakistan after they've moved nuclear weapons to the Afghan border in range of US troops. So that was pretty good, and I wonder what, if anything, Gromov and Russia by extension gains by preventing the black box from winding up in American hands. I think perhaps it's to have the US mired in another prolonged war that devastates the military and the economy, like the current one in Afghanistan and the kind of one in Iraq. But we'll see if his motives are made any clearer on the next episode of Homeland. Thanks so much for watching. This is Bobby Hams, signing out.